Hey guys, Mike Volkin here with Freelancer Masterclass. Before we get started with today's video, I wanted to remind you to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. We post very often tips, tricks, and hacks for freelancers to make their lives better, more efficient, and make more money. Today's class is on how to get higher paying freelance jobs. Many freelancers come to me and say, Mike, I love my job, I love what I do, but I want to get paid more doing it with the same amount of clientele. I don't want to have it's too many clients. I just want to have a few clients and get paid well and a lot for it. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to do that. First of all, charge per project and not per hour. You know, if you work in an industry or have a skill set that you do over and over again, you can use templates. For example, I used an example in the last video about a content marketing strategy that I used. It's 80% the same from client to client. If you have something like that, you can charge per project and not per hour. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold. As long as you're not taking client work and passing it directly off to another client. But if you have something that's highly template-ish, I mean, just think about it. Attorneys do it all the time. What do you think? Contracts are not template-ish? I mean, most contract attorneys are, fill in the blanks, templates. So marketers can do it. Designers can do it. You can use inspiration from prior clients' work to create unique current client work. So if you do that, you could charge per project and make much more money per project than per hour. So think about charging per project and not per hour. Another tip is to have a skilled team behind you. More people means bigger jobs. So if you're somebody who typically works in startups, pre-revenue, clients come to you, they don't have two pennies to scrape together, they want to get you for as cheap as possible. You can have a team behind you that can do a certain skill set, a certain series of skill sets that are all related to each other, and bring on bigger clients. Now, an example of this would be a freelance writer who just does blogging, for example. You can have someone on board who does the HTML coding and layout. You can have someone who does the technical writing and the copywriting, and somebody who does the design of the blog, and somebody who publishes and distributes the blog. And you could be essentially an entire blogging team rather than just one person with one particular skill set. You'll get bigger clientele that way because you can hold bigger projects, and bigger companies are looking for bigger projects. All right. Another tip would be stop marketing to startups. It's very hard to work only with startups. Now, I work about 80% with startups, and there's really no clear definition of a startup. I typically call a startup anything less than $5 million a year in revenue. But if you're someone who works with startups that have individual tasks here and there, it's very hard to make a consistent living, being a full-time freelancer doing that. So if you want, start networking with bigger clients, companies that might have somebody with a manager title. Usually means that they have at least 4 or 5 people on staff, or a director title. Stop marketing to 1 or 2 man shops. Another tip to make more money and get bigger clients is to try strategy rather than task related work. So a client will come to you and say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Designer, can you please create this logo for me? Can you please touch this photo up? Can you do this or that? Can you do social media postings? Those are tasks. Now, if you're a strategist, you'll be worth more per hour than a task-related person for the most part. In some industries, it's probably not the case. I like to think of maybe tech or web coding industries. But there's certainly a lot of gray area in that statement. But take marketing, for example. A marketing strategist like myself can easily bill over $100 an hour. But if I were out there marketing myself as a social media poster, or an SEO person, it'll be very hard, not impossible, but very hard to bill at $100 an hour. So try becoming a strategist rather than working on task-related work. Another tip is to put yourself in the best light. I mean, a lot of people don't really showcase themselves well. I see so many Upwork profiles with very skilled people when I see in their LinkedIn profile, but on their Upwork profile, it's barely filled out. There's misspellings, grammar errors. Pictures don't look that good. They look like they just ran a marathon. They're all sweaty and not smiling. Take a good picture of yourself and represent yourself. Your Upwork profile should essentially be your resume. It should have nice, a good work history, a good portfolio. You should have, in addition to that stuff, you should have testimonials, reviews, all that great stuff, just highlighting you and making you seem like a superstar, because you probably are. Here's a big one, and the last one I'll leave you with today. Act like you care. Be unique. Pay attention to them. Give them good value before you're hired. I mean, I hire a lot of freelancers, and I get rid of the ones that treat me like a cookie cutter. Excuse me. Ones that treat me like they're just copying and pasting something they sent to 50 other people. Really understand what I'm trying to hire you for. Understand my needs, understand my pain points, and pay attention to me. So if you act like you care, you're more likely going to get care back. Okay, so think about these tips the next time you want to make more revenue per client. Thanks.